All right, holy crap. Sirens are going off left, right, and center as I'm starting the stream. Give me a second. It looks like my thumbnail didn't change, and that's a big issue. So just bear with me just a moment here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my camera on. So I just went live because I was looking at this storm here, so I decided to go live. It seems like this is a very dangerous storm right here, going towards the Seaville area, as it is capable of producing a tornado. Just went tornado warned, so. We're going to cover this for a little while here as this progresses up to the northeast. We did have a PDS tornado warning earlier today that I was too slow to catch, so my apologies for that. But yeah, this storm did just go tornado warning. This seems like another one that has the potential to produce a big tornado, so therefore I decided to go live here. Hopefully that thumbnail's correct. I hope it is. I'm gonna go ahead and double check that it should be. It looks like it is on my end. So just make sure you guys are in your safe spot out here. We did just get a new outlook for severe weather, and I'm very curious on exactly what that might show here. Don't know how long we're gonna be live for this exact live stream here. We'll most likely be live later on today as well, so I don't know how long we'll be live on this one. But just make sure you guys are in your safe spot. If you are inside this tornado warning, please be in your safe spot. Again, tornado warning in effect. So that means a tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground. And you can see that area of rotation right here over Lake George, moving up to the northeast like so. So we'll see how rapidly that moves up to the northeast. We'll see if it ends up producing a tornado or not. Now, this is far from the radar site, so it's going to be difficult to depict if there is or is not a tornado on the ground from this far away. And there's no closer radar sites here, so we'll just make do with what we have like we did yesterday. And hopefully we won't see anything over the top here. But again, 2 tornado warnings in effect here. Really for one storm, as you can see here. So we'll keep an eye on that one really close here and see if it does end up doing anything. Welcome JD to the stream. I'm really curious about the new outlook because okay, they didn't change too much. They still have a very large enhanced risk in place, but they added me in a 5%. Sweet. I'm at a 5% now. All right, so that's interesting. But yeah, again, we'll just be watching this storm here that progresses off to the northeast. I don't know how long I'm going to be live here whatsoever. But yeah, that is our area of rotation right here towards the Seedville area. I'm waiting one more scan here. I want to wait one more scan because this could be, this is a hail spike right now, but we could start to see a CC develop. Right now, this is over water, so there isn't going to be any CC drop with this right now at this exact moment, but it could develop an area, or not an area, but rather a tornado here shortly. Welcome, V, to the stream. Glad to see you on in here. So like I said, this was a last second decision to go live here. I really wanted to go live earlier today, but I ended up taking my time making food, and by the time I got back, the tornado lifted. I had no idea it even occurred, so I was late on that. And I didn't want to be late for this one, so I decided to go live before we even have confirmation of if it's on the ground or not, which right now, you know, you're under a tornado warning, which means a tornado is imminent or even on the ground out here in, again, the Seedville area, I believe that is. And if there was a tornado on the ground, we most likely wouldn't be able to tell that well from radar here. Let me switch the storm motion so that way you can see the classic red and green. So now you know how strong that area rotation is. You can see how it's very intense, and it rapidly developed into an area rotation. And that is exactly what happened with our significant tornado that occurred earlier on today. We have received reports of a Wedge tornado that was on the ground earlier today that caused significant damage. We're still getting information on that, so we'll see how valid that may be on a Wedge tornado potential that could have occurred. Give me just a moment. Need to get my water. Hello, Michael. Alrighty, there we go. So this could be on the ground once again. If it is on the ground, it will be right in this area here. Our tornado that occurred earlier on today occurred here near St. Augustine. From this storm that's now well out into the ocean, But now we're watching this cell here. That's tornado warning moving up to the northeast, and I wouldn't be too shocked if it is on the ground. We're not really that able to see if it is or is not on the ground because it's far from the radar. So we'll just continue to monitor it and see what happens. Let's see here. So again, area rotation here in Florida. This is going to be in Florida. Our coverage for as of now will be only in Florida. We may eventually move up to South Carolina and North Carolina. I don't know if I'm going to be live for that long though. I just wanted to go live for this storm here, and this very well could be on the ground. Like I said, it's far from the radar site. So in order for us to see a tornado on the ground from radar, it's going to have to be significant because we're far away from the storm's far away from the radar site, so it's going to be scanning higher up into the storm, which means the debris is going to have to be lofted up higher in order for us to see it. So we'll be monitoring it really, really, really closely here. That's the new scan, I believe. Is that a new scan? Yes, it is. There's still no debris signature, but again, it could easily, very well be on the ground, especially with that tight of a couplet. I would not be shocked whatsoever if we do have a tornado on the ground here. So definitely need to be seeking shelter. If you guys are out in front of this tornado warning storm here, you can see there's not the most populated area, but it is going into a very populated area here shortly. And this is just to the south of where we saw Wedge tornado not but about an hour ago. Out just to the north, like I said, up towards the St. Augustine area. So we'll monitor this one really, really close. Again, area rotation, you can see it clear as day, red and blue there. Normally we see red and green, but the area rotation is so strong that it's actually blue on this color table here. So that is actually indicating over 100-mile-an-hour rotation with this thunderstorm. So you need to be seeking shelter right now if you are inside this warning. Again, this is going out towards like the Bunnell area, so make sure you're seeking shelter. And this is in Florida once again. We are only going to be covering Florida for this live stream unless we manage to stay live for another 4 hours until the North Carolina and Ohio risk starts to pop off. And they did just issue another tornado warning here, which is going to be out for the Tampa area. So that is going to be an area rotation. You can see right over the lake. I was watching that before I started up this live stream. We were watching this area of spin along the entirety of this line. I was monitoring it really close. I was ready to go live on a moment's notice, but nothing touched down. So that was good news there. But this is another storm here. Again, moving towards really downtown Tampa. I mean, downtown Tampa is like here. So some people may consider that downtown Tampa there. That's Rocky Creek. So very populated warning there as well. Two tornado warnings, really technically three, but two storms. You've got two tornado warnings for this one storm, and one tornado warning for this storm down here. So if you are in any of those, you need to be seeking shelter now. Again, very strong area of rotation here in Seedville. I'd be surprised if we don't have a tornado on the ground. I just believe that we can't see it from radar because it's too far from our radar site. So we'll be monitoring it extremely close here. Just make sure you are in your safe spot. Make sure you are in your safe spot if you're under a tornado warning. This is kind of out of nowhere. Really, we weren't expecting anything after noon. So I was watching this all the way up until noon, and I didn't see anything interesting. And then at noon, I let my card down, and then right around then is when we got that PDS tornado warning earlier today. And yeah, no CC drops still on that. But again, I would not be shocked whatsoever if we have a tornado on the ground and we're just not able to see it because we're scanning. In order for us to see the correlation coefficient on here, it has to lift debris 7,000 feet up in the atmosphere. So if it doesn't lift it that far to the north, then we aren't, or that far up, I should say, we aren't going to see it on correlation coefficient. The SPC did add a 30% wind risk just now over southeastern Ohio and West Virginia. They just added that on the new update. 10% tornado risk still is maintained for that area, so we'll continue to monitor it very close here. And like I said, I'll most likely be live streaming later on today. It's just a matter of how long I stream for this live stream. But now I'm in that 5% tornado risk, so I'm going to make sure I have my preparedness plan in place just in case. Looks like storms are going to approach me right around 7, 8 o'clock tonight. So I'll have my preparedness plan ready to go just in case. And yeah, I really don't see a whole lot in that 10% tornado risk, to be honest. I really do not see much of anything in that 10%. I really think North Carolina, Virginia is going to be the main risk today. Other than Florida. Florida is definitely popped off, which was, again, not anticipated whatsoever. So we'll wait another scan for that to see if it is a solid air rotation. I want to check the terminal radar here. So the terminal radar doesn't show any rotation that well. It looks like that rotation broke up rapidly. Really rapidly. I mean, one scan that broke apart, so... we'll see if they keep that tornado warning or not, because that rotation fell apart fast. That rotation dissipated really fast. This one still has a decent air rotation. You can see present right there. Those outbound winds are a little bit on the weaker side, but those inbound winds are going to compensate for a decent amount of that. So it's definitely rotating. I can tell you that. But again, we don't know if there's a tornado on the ground here or not. We have no idea. Let's see here. So, yeah. This storm's going to be able to thrive all the way till the shoreline. There's a stupidly favorable environment, a locally higher favorable environment than anticipated that is in place here. So that is why we do have a risk for severe weather out here. And the main areas that we're watching for right now, at least, are going to be in central Florida. So from Tampa up towards the Palm Coast area. So we're watching this belt of lines and supercells, this little sharp area of supercell development that has occurred over the last couple hours here and has managed to produce at least one significant tornado. And I wouldn't be shocked if we actually saw more tornadoes that I just didn't see. So we'll definitely be watching this one as closely as we can. And as for the risk up towards North Carolina, Virginia, my neck of the woods, that stuff shouldn't get going here for quite a while longer. Let's see if that rotation fell apart. Okay, it did fall apart quite fast there, but it could easily redevelop as it's a very favorable environment out here. Yeah, Ray Maves, and I'm not expecting much in that 10% tornado risk, to be honest. I don't see a lot of potential there whatsoever. I see way more potential in North Carolina and Southern Virginia than I do in Ohio and West Virginia combined. This is a very localized threat for tornadoes here in Florida. This threat should be over shortly. Shortly, this threat should end. I mean, this was a very, like, 1.5 hour of good, a good environment for tornadoes out here. And I don't expect it to continue for much longer, which is why I decided to just, go live. I decided to just go live, even though there's no confirmed tornado warnings. But, I mean, there is tornado warnings, so that's important. But this storm, thankfully, is going to move offshore here, just like our PDS tornado warning storm did as well. So hopefully this continues to hurry up and get out into the ocean. Then the fish have to worry about it and not us. So they still have that tornado warning in effect for just barely west of downtown Tampa here. As you can see, there's no good area rotation anymore. There's nothing solid here whatsoever for rotation, so hopefully that continues to be the case there. And this is occluded, so what that means is that the hook echo has pushed up to the north, which cuts off the inflow, which is how you went from 80, maybe even higher than that, on our inflow to literally like 20, 30. That hook echo occluded up to the north, which cuts off the inflow. So you can see it occludes up to the north, so that cuts off the inflow in front of the storm, which rapidly deteriorates the condition of the supercell, thus resulting in it rapidly weakening. Let's see here. So we now have official confirmation from video evidence. Before it was a little bit of iffy there, but now we do know that we did see a very large wedge tornado earlier today in St. Johns County, which is just to the north here of our current tornado warning. So yeah, we had a wedge tornado in this location here, right there, which is where our PDS warning was in effect for. So hopefully everybody's okay with that. It looked like a very large and destructive tornado, so I really hope everyone's okay, because it seemed like, I mean, that was the most significant tornado we've seen in a while. We didn't see a tornado like that yesterday. I mean, that had some violent motion to it. Massive wedge tornado. I would show the video, but I don't know if I can. Let's see here. Alrighty. So like I said, this just went through the occlusion process, so it might try to redevelop its area of rotation, but if it does that, it won't be, it probably won't be on shore. It's probably going to be off of land by the time it's able to attempt to redevelop that. A new tornado warning down here. New tornado warning out here in Tampa. You see that area of rotation it's trying to come back again. It's very, very weak. You can see it right there. I'm moving up to the northeast. I prefer not to, just to be safe. And there is now a confirmed tornado warning. That just got upgraded to a confirmed tornado warning now. Tornado on the ground here in Tampa. And I believe, is that the correlation coefficient that they're using? What is this confirmed via? Weather spotters confirmed a water spout moving onshore. So, yep, we do have a tornado on the ground now out here in Tampa. There's a funnel cloud reported from a while ago. Alright, let's get another radar down there. This may try to redevelop last second as it's about to move offshore, so we'll keep an eye on that one. But I want to go down here to this confirmed tornado warning in Tampa. I hate how I missed that tornado earlier on today. I feel terrible about that one. I just wasn't fast enough, man. I just wasn't fast enough. And I could have streamed it, too. I was available. I just was not expecting anything to form today. Until like 4 o'clock. So that is a, let's see here. Sorry, we're getting new video of this here. Oh, shoot. One of the storm chasers I know are on this. Wow. He has drone footage of it. Jeez. That is crazy. That's from the Wedge tornado earlier on today. Honestly, I gotta agree with you on that one, Rain Maves. I really have to agree with you on that. I do not see any potential in the 10% tour. I really do not. Normally I do, and it's like, yeah, I see why they put it there, but today I really don't see anything. So no correlation coefficient on that storm just yet here in Tampa, which most likely means that it's a weak tornado right now. It was a water spout, but it's now moved onshore, so it's a tornado. And this is going right through pretty much downtown Tampa. I mean, technically, this is like downtown Tampa here. Your tornado would be located generally. It's in a weird spot. It is in a weird spot. It'd be somewhere in this lower reflectivity values. I'm waiting for the new scan to come through on velocity so I could show you exactly where that tornado may be. It's in a weird spot on this storm. This isn't like your normal classic supercell or, you know, a supercell or an embedded cell. It's nothing like that. It's like a rain shower producing a tornado. Let's see here. Yeah, so if there is a tornado on the ground, it would be up here towards like the Egypt Lake area. Near water, I thought that said water park. Yeah, West Park. Right around that area. Just barely to the north of extreme downtown Tampa. But that area of rotation is so weak, so I would be surprised if we have a tornado on the ground there. I would be surprised. But we'll continue to monitor it really close here. Confirmed tornado. Tornadoes on the ground via storm spotters here. Out for the Egypt Lake, West Park, Carrollwood, Temple Terrace area. This is out here in West Central Florida, I believe is what you consider this. West Central Florida, near the Tampa area. And this is going to try as it's exiting the shore. So I thought that this was going to be offshore before it tries to recycle, but it looks like it might try to recycle like right before it exits the coastline here. So it's going to try to attempt to produce a tornado right at Palm Coast, most likely. We'll see if this tries it or not. But it is starting to ramp up again. You can see how that occludes, and then there's another very weak, very broad area of rotation. Nothing too solid just yet. But that is exactly where, if a tornado were to develop, that is where it would be. It'd also be very much rain-wrapped as well. But again, a tornado is on the ground out here in the West Park area, Egypt Lake. I don't see any viable CC here, so hopefully, if it is on the ground, hopefully it is a very weak tornado, not doing damage. I haven't seen any CC with this, so there's a good chance that it's a very, very weak tornado, or it already lifted and it was extremely brief. We just managed to get a wedge tornado earlier today. I mean, it just that storm just managed to take advantage of the environment, and I mean that's what happens. That's what happens if you get a storm that actually takes advantage of that environment. That's what you could see, and that's why we had, say, the 15 sig yesterday for tornadoes, 10 sigs on other days. Today we only had a 5%, but man, it took up all the ingredients there. Those ingredients were actually very much present. Matter of fact, holy crap, was that a power flash? That is the most intense tornado I've seen in a long time. That is violent, man. The motion on that sucker is crazy. That is violent motion on that wedge tornado. Holy crap. That is the strongest tornado I think I've seen this year. At least on video. The best video footage I've seen. I don't recall anything better than this. Oh my goodness, that is such a... Wow. I retweeted that on my Twitter for anyone who follows me on Twitter. I mean, that is just insane. Absolutely insane. Give me just a moment. Alrighty. So no area of rotation anymore in this storm here. I don't see any areas of rotation, so we'll keep an eye on that. This is still gonna try its best to put an area of rotation in the storm here, have an area of rotation present. Pennsylvania's in a small risk. Y'all aren't in that big of a risk. The main risk is really, um, it's really out here towards Ohio, West Virginia. Actually, it may include portions of Pennsylvania here. It does. Where did you say exactly? Towards Pennsylvania. So yeah, if you're in the yellow or even the green, you want to be weather aware out here. There's a very volatile environment today. It's just a matter of if storms take advantage of it. So we've already seen one massive wedge tornado that was unfortunately extremely destructive. I really hope that it stayed over forestry, but I mean it was in a very populated area of 99,000 people. So if you're in any of these shaded colors, you're at risk for a tornado today, unfortunately, and that's a very large area here on the East Coast. Over You can see here over 60 million under the gun for severe for tornadoes today. And I don't pay too much attention. I'm going to be honest. Don't pay too much attention to the 10% or the 5%. Just if you're in the 2%, if you're in the 2%, be weather aware. So that also includes, of course, the 5% and the 10%. But oops, don't pay too much attention to that. And I say that because there's a very favorable environment outside of that 5%. And if a storm takes advantage of it, it can produce a tornado. So don't just pay attention to, just the 10% and the 5% today. Also pay attention to the very large 2% around that. We do have a 30% wind in place and 15% wind as well. And then small hail threat. So if you're in the light green, anywhere in the light green, and then of course, if you're in the light green, you may be also in the brown, and then in the yellow, just make sure you're hyper weather aware. It doesn't matter which one of these colors you're in, you need to be weather aware. Because the environment today is very favorable for tornadoes, which is rare. It is rare to have such a good environment on the East Coast here, like what we have today. Stupid allergies, man. So let me just show you. Holy crap! That's a lot of supercells. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. You can see how favorable, and this is what I was talking about. Honestly, I don't know why they didn't include all of Western NC in that 5%. But I mean, you have tornado ingredients present in just a large chunk here of the East Coast, and you can see how that's going to progress over time here. And honestly, I wouldn't rule out a strong tornado here today as well. If in North Carolina, Virginia, right along this line, I really would not rule out a strong tornado potential. We already saw a strong tornado in Florida, so there's not going to be anything that stops a strong tornado potential here in North Carolina, Virginia. Yes, I'm dead center of the threat today. Dead center of the threat. So I got included in that 5% tour. This does look like it's weakened rapidly, so that's good news. I thought that it was going to be able to try and attempt to redevelop an area of rotation, but it looks like it's not going to be able to do that. It's also 1 for 70-mile-an-hour winds. Alright, let's go back over here. They did just drop that confirmed tornado warning. You can see they dropped that, not even, but like a minute ago. So they just dropped that. No longer tornado warning. So we're left with no tornado warnings, and that's what's warranted. That's what warranted your confirmed tornado warning. Public reported a waterspout moving towards shore. That's what warranted your confirmed tornado warning. Isabel, welcome to the stream, and I don't know if you saw it. I retweeted it if you didn't see it. There was a really violent tornado today. I know you saw the Wedge tornado pictures, but we have a video of it, and it has violent motion. I mean, that's crazy motion for a tornado. I really hope that stayed over just trees and nothing else. Because, I mean, if that went over houses, that's unfortunately going to be significant damage. Because that was, I mean, like I said, that's really emotion that I haven't seen in a long time. So, very crazy. I really wish I could have been here to cover it, but I was too slow. It happened so fast, y'all. It went from a little cell. They tornado warned it, and honestly, I didn't even think much of it. So I went and fixed me some food. I came back, and by the time I was back, the thing lifted. I mean, it was like a 5 minute wedge, large wedge, strong tornado. Like 5 minutes. I mean, that was like the quickest strong tornado that I have seen. It was like a QLCS. I guess you could compare it to that. It's like a strong QLCS because it was just so fast. Nothing 1 minute, next minute strong wedge tornado on the ground, next minute lifted. And unfortunately, I do believe it went right over a populated area, but I'm hoping that it was forestry. Because there's forest around where this video was taken. There, it looks like it's in a forest, but I don't know. I really hope it was forest though, but honestly, there's a really good chance it was not. I hate to tell you, there's a really good chance that it was not forestry. If y'all haven't seen the debris signature on it, which I don't think I've showed it this stream, I'm going to do a 50 frame so that way we could see it. Just to show y'all how insane this was. Is that even a long enough frame? Okay, there it is. So there's your debris signature. So, just a small tornado, barely noticeable, big CC, massive CC. This is probably when it was a wedge and lifted. And then look at the debris fallout. I mean, that debris fallout is insane. So, I don't want to say it, but this most likely went right over a lot of houses. You could see this is your tiny CCs down here. I'm pretty sure that's your CC, right? Yeah, so the leftover, the weak tornado as it's starting to lift is right here. And here is all the debris that it picked up going into the circulation of the tornado. And, I mean, you can see this went right over populated areas. I mean, you can see it went right over. Let's see where this was. Samara Lakes. So let's get rid of our radar site here and go to Samara Lakes, which I probably am not going to be able to find again. Okay, let's try this again. There's a nice feature on Radar Omega that you could do. It's called Occupacity for radars. So if we turn this down to like 2, so let's go all the way back and let's find that big CC again, which is right there. So there you go. And we could turn down the Occupacity here. And yeah. Oh my goodness. It went right over that very populated area. Oh my word. Oh my goodness. That is crazy. See, I hope that this is what the debris was, these trees, and not this. But I hate to tell you that in order for debris to be detected on radar like that, it already has to be up in the air, of course. So what it most likely did was it lifted up debris, and then the radar scanned all that debris there. So most likely it did hit a good chunk of that area. And that was at 11:45 this morning, Eastern time. Johnson City is perfectly fine today. Isolated severe weather is possible, but honestly, there shouldn't be much of a risk. They did just put Tor Possible on this storm. So this one's going out to sea, and it's like I said, it's still gonna try to recycle here, but thankfully it's gonna be out to sea. And they did put Tor Possible on this big severe here. I don't see any good areas of rotation yet. I don't see any really good areas of rotation, so we'll keep an eye on it though. We'll keep an eye on it. Make sure this is muted here. Man. Absolutely crazy. Wow. So we're going to call our coverage here at 40 minutes. Maybe, yeah, 40 minutes. They just got rid of that severe. So actually, I think we're severe warning list now. Let me double check. Yeah, that's actually going to put us at no warnings. So just like I was talking about with this going from within minutes, going from tornadic areas to nothing. And that's exactly what it was. I mean, we've had tornadic development. 11:45 to 1:15 seems to have been the main risk. And now everything's done. Everything's done. And that's it. That is probably going to be all of our risk until 6 o'clock tonight. So if I find a reason to go live later on tonight, I will be. I will be live again today. I can tell you that. Whether or not it be a briefing or live coverage or whatnot, I'm not sure. But I will be live again tonight, or later on today. It just depends. I'll keep a very close eye on it, and if we end up with anything, then yeah, I'll be back here. I will be back here if we see anything notable. This time, I'm not leaving my computer. Let's see here. Well, you can't catch them all, dude. There's no way to catch all the tornadoes. They form so fast. That's why we cover them, and that's why we're here for hours on end most days. But today was not a big risk. We have a 5% and a 2% in place for Florida. The 5% overperformed ridiculously, and we have a 10% up in Ohio. But honestly, I don't see the need for that. And we did just get another severe here. So they did just put a new severe on this storm. It's not tour possible, though. If we get another tornado warning, I'll monitor it. If I see it being worth going live, I'll go live. But I'll be on standby. If we end up with a confirmed tornado warning or a PDS warning, I will be back here. So, yeah, that's going to be about it for the rest of the day here. Just to show you all the risk area. Once again, we've got that enhanced risk. It doesn't matter if you're in the enhanced, the slight, or the marginal. All risks you need to be hyper weather aware in. Like I said, if you're in that 2%, be hyper weather aware. The 5%, be hyper weather aware. The 10%, be hyper weather aware. It does not matter what percent you're in here. You need to be hyper weather aware just in case. Because today could do absolutely anything. Models have been all over the place. The more localized area of a tornado threat that I see is really going to be Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. I see this area here being a decent tornado risk. It's what chasers like to call a sleeper day or a sleeper risk. Basically a risk that's going to go relatively unnoticed that looks decent enough to the potential that it could produce tornadoes. And honestly, I wouldn't even rule out a strong tornado potential. In my opinion, I would not rule out a strong tornado potential around this area here on the western side, right there. I see ingredients favorable for a strong tornado potential, so just stay hyper weather aware. Thank you guys for tuning into this urgent coverage with me. Again, my apologies for missing that Wedge tornado. I really hate how I missed that. It seems like we may have a spinner tornado occur here. So if this moves on shore, this could produce a tornado. So early heads up to you guys out in front of this. We're going to end our coverage if this does go confirmed. I'll be back here if it does go confirmed, but that's going to move up to the northeast like so. So if you're up towards Apollo Beach, this general area, make sure you are hyper weather aware because we could see a tornadic storm move on shore and possibly produce a tornado. So thank you guys for tuning in. No music here. I'm just going to go ahead and end the coverage right now. I'll see you guys at some point later on today. Like I said, whether or not it be a briefing or live coverage, we'll figure that out later on today. So just stay hyper weather aware if you're in any of the risk areas. Like I said, anywhere from Ohio down to Florida, all the way back up towards Pennsylvania. Just stay hyper weather aware for that 2%, 5%, and then the 10% tornado risk. You can check that if you type in your browser SPC Day 1 or National Weather Service Day 1. It'll pop right on up, should be near the top. And you'll be able to see the risk. So if we end up with a confirmed tornado warning, I'll be back here. If not, then I will be back here at 5:50 Eastern for a briefing. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you guys here most likely shortly, to be honest. Stay safe, watch severe weather. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.